Today on Green Country People and Places.
My brother was living here, and he called me and said, I have taken some pictures that have really spooked me, and I'm out of here. And so he left.
Did you know that Oklahoma has more drivable miles of Route 66 than any other state in the nation? Hang on. You didn't mention that part.
Oklahoma's Green Country.
Can you let go of my thumb and I can get you some more?
It's full of unique places.
This does remind me of the Flintstones house. This thing's huge.
It's pretty impressive.
And interesting people.
This is the trading post here.
I have a lot of paranormal activity over here.
What is that, a horse?
So come along with us and enjoy the ride.
People aren't kidding. This does remind me of the Flintstones house. And we have the owner, Linda Calder. Thank you.
Hi.
We're going to enjoy our tour today. I appreciate you having us.
Sure, I'm glad you came.
You know, when I look at this, it's like somebody had a wild hair, didn't they? They just came up with this idea and let it go.
Apparently, they built it as a chicken restaurant. Of course, back in the 20s, when you had a chicken restaurant, often there was another business in the back room. And so that's what I hear was going on here. Some people believe it, some people don't. But this portion, I believe, was built in 1942.
So it's not part of the chicken restaurant?
No.
So this was a little bitty chicken restaurant?
Yes, because from what I understand, you would eat out here at the side at picnic tables and benches. And then I'm told those who were privy to that got to go into the speakeasy, which was in the hill, a big room in the hill. Called it a ballroom. What I understand, there was gambling and drinking and women, you know, and there are tunnels throughout the hill that people that built around here were told to be cautious of when they built. There's actually a house up on a dead-end road up there that has an entrance or exit, whichever you prefer, that has been bricked up. And they were told that Grandpa used to bring his stuff down through the tunnel while the kids played on the roof down here.
People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look.
So this is room number 1?
It is room number 1. I call this the main room.
This is actually bigger inside than it looked outside already.
It's really surprising. It really is. People are usually shocked. It's actually 1,620 round feet.
It's bigger
There's
than
no
my house
square
almost.
corners.
And how did do you know how the cement went together? I mean, how they built this?
I don't. I've heard cement, chicken wire. Of course, I've also heard stucco. And to tell you the truth, there's so many layers of different stuff on there and patches. Not real sure. One or the two.
Don't get you lying. Yeah. Well, and it looks like sometimes you have to fight a little bit of water looking at the ceiling up there. I imagine this was a mess when you took it over.
It was actually full of water, and I have my share of leaks with the roof being round. Any little pinhole, then the water just travels and comes out everywhere. It's something I certainly need to address soon when I scrape up some money.
Okay, now this is a little bit weird. I don't know if you heard it. A minute ago when we were doing the interview, we heard wind chimes.
It was actually full of water, and I have my share of leaks with the roof being round. Any little pinhole.
I heard them, Brian heard them, you heard them.
Full of water, and I have my share of leaks with the roof being.
We actually thought of somebody coming through a door, but there's not another door, is there?
No, just one upstairs that no one can really come in and out of.
So we had a visitor.
Yes, we did. Actually, that was one of my first unexplained occurrences, I guess you could call paranormal. I was spending the night here for the first time by myself and fell asleep on the couch finally, and I had a bunch of wind chimes over there on an archway and woke up to them all chiming at 2 o'clock in the morning with no fan or no wind.
And no windows open.
No, and I've been told that can be a bit of a portal. I use them around here because I often feel like I have visitors, and when a wind chime is chiming, I know maybe that area is one I don't want to go into at the moment. My brother was living here, and he called me and said, I have taken some pictures that have really spooked me, and I'm out of here. And so he left, and he thought he had 5 or he told me he had 5. I got here, and there were only 2.
So these were almost like bad exposures. He was shooting something, and this is what came out.
Right, right. He had a Polaroid, and he was actually shooting things such as that.
Right. And that's what came. That's really wild. So he's
It is
expecting to
wild.
see stuff,
Yeah.
and he sees
Yeah.
that.
That's right.
I'd leave.
Right here is the image of Mr. Purser. You can see his shoulder and neck, his hat, his face, and his tie.
Oh, I see. He's kind of looking down. Mm-hmm. That's spooky.
Isn't it?
Yes.
A little creepy. And then this was taken upstairs, and that's where the rag lady, or Ella, passed away. And you can see kind of the sockets of her eyes and then her nose.
Yeah, long nose, eyes. Okay.
And those are just pictures that we have, but I think there's a lot of other visitors around.
I always feel like somebody's watching me, and in the privacy. Oh, I always feel like somebody's watching me.
So I understand there's a cool story behind that round patch above the ceiling fan?
There is. That is a concrete patch, and from what I understand, one of the owners that actually sealed the room into the hill up had some work done because tunnels were collapsing, etc. And he took a column out that was there, and it actually was full of silver coins, from what I hear.
Oh my.
And I hear it a lot.
You just haven't seen it yet.
No, I'm yet to find my treasure. This is what I call my little parlor room.
It's little.
And it is. And this is where Mr. Purser liked hanging around when he was visiting. This ceiling is relevant because you'll notice the slope of that. When we go upstairs, there is a porch room that was Ella's work room. It's a wooden floor, and some guys pried up some boards in there one day and found a bunch of old bottles and coins and stuff. Evidently, there's a little storage area between this ceiling and that floor.
Wow.
She used that for her business.
Everybody's finding all the good stuff but you.
You know what? I've heard Ella had some amazing jewelry, and she said she hid it over here so people would stop asking her about it. And so far, I haven't heard about anyone finding it, so I think it's waiting for me.
And I'm pretty impressed because when you got this place that just was filled with trash, you've done all the decorating.
I
haven't you?
have. The good old question, how do you decorate a cave house? This is my interpretation, and because I like to recycle and reuse, a lot of it is from Kirby's Boutique, which is everybody's curb on trash day.
That's where I know you from. Okay.
Probably so.
Well, and it's very eclectic.
Thank you. I like that word.
Now you're talking about Ella. She wasn't the first person here, but she was quite a character, right?
Evidently, this place just reeked of character because quite a few characters have lived here. There was the key woman, and I'm not sure of her name, but if anyone knows that, I'd love to hear it. And then there was Ella and her husband, Bill. But from what I understand, through the years, there were just a number of people that most of them used this place for selling alcohol.
Wow, and was Ella's bedroom when she was here?
From what I understand, this was her bedroom, and the room I call a parlor room was actually her kitchen.
Oh, okay, gotcha. And we can't get back in there, but that goes back a ways, right?
It does. It finishes rounding out the building. And if you go in there, something will fall on you, and I have to hide you in a tunnel.
I probably wouldn't be lonely.
No, from what I hear, you wouldn't be.
What about the key lady? That sounds kind of interesting.
I'm told that she had a fascination for keys, and she rode a bicycle and rode around with these great big key rings, and if you dropped your key, you better grab it because she'd try to get it because she just really loved, and you know, it was like a sign of importance to her. And myself, I have lost keys. The first event we had before I found out about the key woman is that I could not find my keys, and I just left them in my car, and had a friend here, and she saw that also. And then we couldn't find them, and 3 hours later they were at the side of the hill. And since then, that's happened to a number of people, even people that have been here on a tour. Yeah.
I'm hanging on to them.
Okay, well, I'll know where they're at if you miss them.
I appreciate it. Upstairs?
Upstairs.
Well, these are different stairs.
They are different stairs. I'm told they're called drunkard stairs.
I'm having trouble sober. Wow. Well, that is cool. So we're on the second floor now.
We are.
And this is like the add-on section, right?
It is. It is.
Okay. The first room we have is very, very tight.
It's a little bitty bathroom,
You're not kidding.
but it does give me the opportunity to do some quirky things like my hand towel rack. And
I like those. I mean, you don't see too many hands in a bathroom
I'm
like that.
thinking you don't. And my hot water tank was ugly and rusty, so it became a make-believe still.
Oh, that's great.
My interpretation.
keeps with the theme of the building.
It
Yeah,
does.
I like that.
the wind comes sweeping down the plain.
I have to admit, we finally found a room with straight walls.
Kind of.
It's got some corners. It's got a nest.
People wonder why I'm carrying sticks in, and you can see why, because I think God did a pretty good job when he made trees, and so I decorate with them.
So you're talking, there's a key lady here, there was a dumpster diver lady, and now you're the stick lady.
I am.
So every lady that comes to this place gets a moniker.
You get some kind of title.
So you think you're actually chosen to have this
You know
house?
what? I absolutely do, because when I saw it in the paper and I heard it was for sale, I was like a lot of hundreds of other people, from what I understand, wanting to come over and see inside. And they said, well, we're not showing it yet, it's not cleaned up, and everybody just wants to see inside. They're not serious. And I said, well, I might be serious. But when the realtor opened the door, and it was a frightful thing, and he didn't even really want to walk in, I was just overcome. I just felt like I was home. It's just really odd. And then when I find out the stories and the different people that lived here and the common interest, I really think it was supposed to be mine. This is the last room in the house.
Oh, I like this. This is a great view. What a nice feel, too. And
Thank you.
man, you see everywhere out there.
It's an awesome view. It's almost like being out in the country when you're up here over the street. The views are wonderful.
I bet you can see the storms coming in, too.
The storms, we like to come over and meet here. A few friends and I come over and watch the storms often, and it's the best place to watch a sunset. It's awesome.
Have you had any spooky experiences up here?
This was one of my first experiences that made me wonder what was going on around here. I was over here working when I first bought it. For the first couple of years, this happened a few times, actually. I had a rag bag, and then suddenly the rags would end up at the windows, and my curtains would be taken down. And I looked, I thought, well, someone has broken in and is playing a prank on me.
I mean, the rags were hanging
Yeah,
on
they
your
were
curtain
hanging
rods?
as if they were curtains, you know, just hanging from the rods.
Ooh, that's spooky.
Yes, and I wonder what the deal was, because I couldn't find out how anyone was coming in, and nothing else was amiss.
Yeah.
And it turns out that people started letting me know that Ella used to take her fabrics and wash them out and hang them there at that window to dry.
Spooky.
Yes.
And then you were saying right below here?
Right below this terrarium, because I don't know yet how to access it safely, is I have removed the boards because I was told that it was there, and there is a storage area that Bill and Ella used, and evidently some fellas found some treasures under there. So.
Well, I have a crowbar if you need any help. Only 30%.
I have been offered that before.
And then the really neat thing about this room that I like the most is right back here, you can actually, you're right on the roof practically.
You are.
Wow. Have you ever walked out there?
I do.
Cool. I really appreciate you taking us through this house because, like you said, everybody goes by and says, I want to see inside.
That's right.
And this has been an icon for decades in Tulsa, and I really appreciate the opportunity to come through.
Well, I'm glad you came through.
This is just getting ridiculous. You're the one who believes in this stuff, not me, Brian. See anything? Ah. Let's get out of here.
When you're strange, when you're strange, when you're strange.
Did you know that Oklahoma has more drivable miles of Route 66 than any other state in the nation?
Get your kicks on Route 66.
One of my favorite places is the Blue Whale in Catoosa. This is really spectacular. Time magazine even listed it in its top 50 roadside attractions in the nation. Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, and even Paul McCartney have visited here. But there are a lot more special places along Route 66 to see. Up in Miami, there's a couple places that we've been to before that we really like. The first is the Route 66 Vintage Iron Motorcycle Museum. They have motorcycles there up to 100 years old. They also have a really nice collection of Evel Knievel and Steve McQueen memorabilia. And also in Miami, you'll find the restored Coleman Theater. This is an incredible building that they've restored with a lot of loving care. Continue heading south and you'll come to Foyle's Totem Pole Park. It's an incredible collection of totem poles, including the world's largest totem pole, all built by one man, Ed Galloway. Heading into Tulsa, make sure you check out the restored Metagold sign. It was a Route 66 icon for many years. As you're coming up to the Arkansas River in Tulsa, you're going to find a special place. It's the Cyrus Avery Route 66 Memorial Bridge and Centennial Plaza. This area was built to honor the man, Cyrus Avery, who helped lay out the route for Route 66 through Oklahoma. Now, we're not going to hit everything on Route 66, but as you go through Sapulpa, you've got to stop off at the Wade Phillips gas station. It's a beautifully restored gas station from the 1920s. As you keep on going through Sapulpa, you come across the historic Rock Creek Bridge. And as you go across it, you're going to come up to the old TP Drive-In Theater. It's in disrepair right now, but boy, does it bring back a lot of memories.
Now you go through St. Louis, Joplin, Missouri, and Oklahoma City looks mighty pretty, you'll see.
We are at a very unique park, and I think I found the new vehicle for green country people and places. And Russ, we're at your park.
Yes, I'm Russell Hogan. I want to welcome you to the area. This is a unique area and unique in the terrain and the kind of area we're in, and also centrally located in the United States.
Now this is really cool. This is a bandana, but it's a map of the whole area, right?
Yes.
So if somebody comes here to off-road, they get one of these and they can know where they have to go.
Yes.
Now I noticed we've got some toys behind us. Can you start educating me a little bit on off-road, because
Well,
I don't know a lot about it.
I raced this car in the World Cup, and I also raced it in the Olympics out in New Mexico.
Wow.
We had a lot of fun with it, and we run with guys from all over the world there, Iceland and Hawaii and places in Australia. You wouldn't think that they have off-roading in these other countries, but they have them at off-road clubs in Israel and
Really?
Every place. And these guys came from all over the world to do those events. Used to, you run what you brung. Now we run different cars. This car would run AA in that it is a long wheelbase car, and it has the large tires, and it's fully altered. They set up courses, and they're spread out. And sometimes you're on a 5-mile run, and you'll climb one obstacle and then move a couple miles and do the other. So this car is popular with that, in that we can haul the crew, so to speak, from one stand to the next. This car here, close to 600 horsepower.
Holy cow. And you guys have to actually put a plate underneath
Oh, yes.
and hide everything, right?
Well, it's to keep the bottom from hanging up on the rocks and the suspension and stuff. And you fall the cars a lot as you come
Say
off
what?
a rock. Fall. The car falls.
You're
As
going
you
to
come
show
off-
us that today?
We come off of waterfalls and come off of rock piles and stuff, and you have to protect the bottom as well as the sides.
Yeah.
As you roll the cars and flip them, and this car's been wrecked many times. It's been raced for 5 years.
So, Russ, when you say wreck, you really mean wreck. Sometimes
Oh,
you
yes.
need a wrecker truck or a
Oh, yes.
recovery truck, like you
It's a
call it.
recovery truck, in that people come out here and go play, and the first thing they do is get it on its top or its side, or get it in over its head in the water, and it has to be recovered.
Low rider, drives a little slower. Low rider.
All right, let's go for a ride. We'll see what this place looks like. Just put a foot on the tire and come on. You got her made.
There's a story behind why you built this vehicle,
Yes.
isn't
There was a deal on Pirates Rubicon that came out and said you had to have $40,000 to $50,000 to build a rock and trail car. And I said, baloney. So
there? You sure you said baloney?
yeah, I said, I can fix you up with that. So we built this car and called it Project Farm Truck, and we put it on our website and showed how to take an old Chevy truck and cut it up and make an off-road car out of it.
What did it cost?
And it cost $3,000.
Oh my gosh, what a view you get from here.
Yeah,
So that's the Pensacola Dam.
that's the Pensacola Dam, fellas.
Wait a minute, we're going down this?
We're going down this, gentlemen.
Holy goodness.
There's a reason behind the madness when you build one of these things, is to try to get it over this kind of stuff.
I'm surprised how smooth the ride is, though. This is pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, it's even more fun when you're riding in this and you're shooting a video camera back there, too. Hang on, Brad. You got the whole dam over there, and then this is where the flood control comes through across all these rocks, right?
And this is fairly underrated. This is one of the wonders of the world.
Wow.
You got to understand that this was built with unskilled labor, working for 17 cents an hour.
So what's the story behind the rock here? There's something special here?
Only that this was the limestone, and they never knew what was down here when they built the dam until they opened the gates. It took the overburden off and exposed this limestone. And one of the best kept secrets to this whole deal, there's a volcano right here.
A volcano?
Yeah, I'll show you that.
In Disney, Oklahoma.
In Disney, Oklahoma. And they don't want to talk about it. But sometime during Alley Loop's day, something awful went on here. And I'll show you the melted rock and the debris that came from that volcano and blowed this hole out. We call this swimming hole here. And it was 160 feet deep when they stripped the overburden off of it and washed it out. But it is since filled with rock to about 14 feet deep now. These boulders as big as houses float.
Float?
Float under the pressure of the water.
So that one started up there a ways and has been moving back.
Oh yes, oh yes. And it'll eventually wind up down there in that rubble pile in small pieces.
So this is, you got a monster truck here. For a Jeep or something like this, this is challenging, right?
Yes, it'd be a...
Wow. I know my van wouldn't make this.
No.
So the fun behind this is building a vehicle that can crawl over anything, right?
Yep. Hang on.
You didn't mention that part.
And all of these rocks are of different eras at different times in millennium that that type of rock was formed and made.
So this is not only a fun trip, it's an educational trip.
Yes, and to the guys that know about rock, they come here, the geologists and stuff, and they study these formations and the way these rocks are and tell what happened here and actually what part of millennium it took place.
Yeah.
And it's quite interesting.
So this is the volcano in this crack?
Yeah. This is
I gotta practice at getting in and out of this thing.
Yeah. This is where something went on early in the early day, really blew a hole in the earth, and as you can see, the way the rocks are all pitched in different directions, and they're all fried together.
Oh,
like a big mix of pancake batter or something with some peanuts thrown in it.
yeah, and it's dark
And it's dark and charred. See, this was all vented up out of here when this stone was melted and all of this was going on. This hole here was 160 feet deep in the early day. It's now been filled in with rock. You can chill a watermelon in it. Come on. You can chill a watermelon in it in August because it stays at about 35 degrees the year round.
We get to go across a little bit of water.
Yeah.
It's not deep though. Oh, we're going up this, huh?
We hope.
Now is that kind of what four-wheeling's supposed to be? And that's still small.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Where to next?
Well, we're going to go down here in the rock garden and we'll see some real boulders.
So this is the rock garden.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Rock garden area. And we're going down in that area. And that grand staircase is just across from us. Those series of ledges and staircases.
And you climb that
They
too?
climb those.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Smooth.
Yeah. We let the fire go
Is that
out.
what you call popping the clutch off? So you have a wrecker, you said? and the guy who drives the wrecker's out here.
Yeah.
So, oh, that's a sneaky trick. We're not gonna do the big staircase, but we're gonna take the smaller staircase.
Yeah.
That's still what? 10 feet up?
Might ought to hang on.
This is interesting. So actually, the fastest we drive is when we go up something.
Yeah.
I can see why people like doing this now. This is fun stuff. Good night. Wow, and you're back up on top and you get to see the whole site and the whole view again up here.
Yeah. You gotta go up, you gotta go down. Okay, you might hang on.
Yeah, I'm doing that right now.
You might be hanging on.
Holy cow. That's ridiculous. Boy, we've only been about 10% of this place. There's a lot more to it. This is a great way to travel. I feel like I'm king of the mountain now.